Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to adding and subtracting rational expressions. All right. So, whenever we want to add and subtract, first and foremost, let's forget we're talking about rational expressions here. Let's look at normal everyday fractions. So, for example, if we did 3 over 5 plus 1 over 3. How would we be able to add these two fractions together? So a slight reminder from previous years, the first thing you'd want to do is you need to find the common denominator. Okay, so find the common denominator, which basically means you want to make this number the same as this number. So when we're looking at them, well, what's the lowest common denominator? Well, we can probably turn them both into 15. That's the only time they're both the same. So to do that, I would have to multiply the 5 by 3, which means I'd have to do the same thing to the top, because whatever you do to the bottom, you have to do to the top, and I have to multiply the 3 by 5. Same thing to the top. So that would give me 9 over 15 plus 5 over 15. Alright, now once you have actually done all of that, now obviously I'm going to add to these rules here, so you find the common denominator, you multiply both the top and the bottom the same factor. Okay, so once you're done that, you can then get your answer, because once that you have the same common denominator, you add your tops. So you can add 9 plus 5. 9 plus 5 is 14. Okay? So all we did here, if you notice what we did, is we found what is missing from this denominator and what is missing from this denominator. So basically, what does this one have that the other one didn't? And what was this missing that the other one didn't? So basically, when you look at the 5, what's the 5 missing that the other fraction had? Well, the other fraction had a 3. So we multiply this one by 3. Okay? What was missing that this one had from the other one? Well, 5. So we multiply this one by 5. Okay? So how can we apply this to rational expressions? So we're going to step this up next slide. Okay, so in this slide, we're now using x's. We now have expressions, but the steps don't change. You still want to find the common denominator between these two numbers. Now, so what is the 2 missing that the other denominator of 3 has? Well, we can turn them both into 6. And to do that, I can multiply this by 3 and this by 2. Okay, which would give you 6x over 6 plus 2x over 6. Now that they are same common denominators, we can now say 6x plus 2x over 6. I'm basically doing the same thing we did last time. I'm just putting them over the same number, which is equal to 8x over 6. Now remember, whenever you would want to do your final answers, it's not final unless you have it fully simplified. And we'll notice here that you have 8 over 6 here. This can be simplified more. I can find that 8 is divisible by 2, and 6 is divisible by 2, which means I can turn my final answer into 4x over 3. And that's the fully simplified answer there. Okay, so let's look at a little bit of a harder example here. Now, in the last two examples, you only had one thing to worry about in the bottom. In this example, you're now going to be looking at basically how can I find out what the common denominators are? And this is why I keep using the word missing. So to be able to even do this, you need to make sure that you can factor, first and foremost, this. Because obviously, to find the common denominators, you need to find what factors are multiplying each other, what product gave you this. Now, as you remember from the common trinomial video, we want to simplify common trinomials. So 2 over x plus 3 we're going to leave the same, plus 3 on the top stays the same. But on the bottom here, x squared plus 5x plus 6. As you recall from the factoring trinomial videos, you want to find out what multiplies to give you 6, but adds up to give you 5. Well, there is only one factor set that does that. That's 3 times 2. 3 times 2, so let's do our table up here. So product, sum. I know 3 times 2 gives me 6, and 3 plus 2 gives me 5, which is exactly what I'm looking for. So on the bottom, I know I can have two factors, x plus 3, x plus 2. Okay? So when we're looking at this now, I'm noticing that I have an x plus 3 here and an x plus 3 here. So they both have x plus 3. What are they missing? Well, this one has an x plus 2, and this one does not. So what you would do for the common denominators is you would multiply this one by what you're missing. And what we're missing is x plus 2. If you did that to the bottom, you obviously do that to the top as well. Okay? Which is equal to, well, this is going to distribute into both of them. So 2 times x plus 2 would be 2x plus 4. Remember, you're catching your Pokemon here. Sorry, couldn't resist, had to say it. And on the bottom, you have your x plus 2 times x plus 3. Okay? Plus. Didn't do anything here. We just left it the same. And finally, now you are going to be adding your numerators. So finally, you're going to get 2x plus 4 plus 3. Get your like terms together, so that's going to be 2x plus 7 over. Now you can just write back the bottom here, so you're just going to write down x squared plus 5x plus 6. I can't simplify anything here. There's nothing I can cancel out. So this is my final answer. Alright, so we're going to end off with one example here. Now, obviously the last examples, please try to do them yourselves, but pause the video and see if you're able to do the same things, okay? So, first things first here, we're going to see our common denominators. We want to follow our steps here, okay? So, common denominators. What's this one missing that the other one doesn't have? Well, this one has 3 times x, right? Because there has an x squared. So what's this one missing that the other one doesn't have? All right, so basically I am missing 3 and I'm missing an x. So I'm missing 3x. Okay, which also means I have to multiply the top by 3x. Notice I'm putting a bracket, and the bracket is because, remember, this has to distribute to both. You gotta Pokemon Go it. Alright? So, next line. I don't need to do anything here. Okay, and now you're going to distribute, so you're going to have 6x squared plus 9x divided by 3x squared. Okay, my bottoms are the same, so I can add my tops, or subtract in this case. Now remember, there's a reason why I picked this one, and that's because of the minus here. Now remember, if you're subtracting a fraction or expression, remember this minus has to distribute into both as well. Think of it like a -1. So when you're doing it, you should have 4x minus 1, and you're subtracting from it 6x squared, and you're subtracting from it 9x, okay, minus 9x. All right? And then finally, get your like terms together. So the only like terms I have are the 4x and the negative 9x, which would give me negative 5x. So it's going to be, but you also want to put this in order, so you go from the biggest exponent, which is the x squared, so you go negative 6x squared minus 5x divided by 3x squared. And of course, don't forget the -1 on the top. So when we look at the top and the bottom, there are no more common factors here. So we are done. So if you have any questions on this or any other videos, please let me know, and have a wonderful day.